First thing, when you load in, you're gonna want to turn these off, because otherwise you're gonna keep getting this very annoying message, which you know the HUD has been hidden. You don't need to see it every time. So the most basic things that I use personally are the zoom function, depth of field section over here, focal distance, and sensor width. These are what helps me make these close-up shots with the background all blurred, so it doesn't take away from your dino. And of course, setting the time of day and playing around with the timeline to make sure you get a nice shot. This one is boring, but it's gonna do the job. I like to use the zoom feature. It makes things a bit more cinematic, makes things feel more close to the character than just him standing there. Like this, to me, is much nicer than this. But this is a personal preference, of course. As you can see, it doesn't sort of elongate the face as if I came up to him. His mug is is real long now, versus this. I'm just as close and he's still in proportion. I usually set this to about here at first. This controls how blurry things are, the sensor width. You can always set it to a specific amount here. I just use the slider. And then this thing shows you where the main focus is. So if I set it to halfway, you can see this is the default, so nothing, and then you can see it slowly changing how far away the focus is. So by default you will probably have it somewhere low. Set the timer right to make it cinematic or something. Also watch out for those little white kind of dots around your dino. They can sometimes take away from it, so the fix is either to come up closer or further, but then as you can see I start getting blurry, so I might just have to decrease the blurriness a little bit. And now this is quite good. As you can see, the background becomes blurry and then unblurry, the lines specifically. Only at certain low angles the background gets blurry. Otherwise, if you look up, you can see the tree lines are sort of in focus. I'm not sure if there's a way to fix it. It's good if you can manage to get a nice angle while also having it low enough to make the background blurry. You can see a lot of things in the background have very sharp outlines right now, but if I go up a little bit and I change it, it looks much better. There's also a setting in the camera section, aperture. It changes how much of an area is in focus. You can see this is a very tiny area now. You can change it by getting further or closer. Of course, the more you increase it, the more it stops getting blurry. However, the background also slowly starts becoming less and less blurry until it's very clear. It's not necessary. The most important things are the zoom to make it more cinematic, and then play around with the focal distance and how strong you want the blur to be. Again, the stronger the blur, the smaller the focal area is going to be. So this comes in very handy with the stronger blurs, but it's not required.